It's a case of deja vu this afternoon as Spennymoor Town make the long trip down to the Phillips 66 for the second time in as many weeks after they were dumped out the FA Trophy at the hands of the Breaks here a fortnight ago. Leamington have taken 7 points out of a possible 9 in their last 3 league games, and such is the unpredictable nature of this league, a win today could take the Breaks within touching distance of the playoff places. Holleran highlighted the increase in confidence as being vital to his side's recent run of good form, and it's just a one-in-4 change to his side, with Stephen Morley serving his one-match suspension on the sidelines following his red card he received against Guiseley. George Carline slots into left-back, with Cayman Anderson being given the nod in midfield. New signing Josh Martin is on the bench. With that fixture against Altrincham postponed last week for the Moors, it is 2 consecutive meetings with Paul Holleran's men, and with the reverse fixture taking place in January, these two will be sick of the sight of each other come the new year. Talk about keeping your enemies close. The visitors boast an impressive league form of late, unbeaten in 12 league games. Spennymoor are seeking their 9th victory of the season and their 3rd on the road here today. And Joe Clark gets us underway here at the Phillips 66 Community Stadium. And it's met by the head of Shane Henry, the first attacking move of the game by Leamington. Glenn Taylor will flick on, look for the Ryan Hall. Under it is Jack Lane. Maycock calmly roll back to George Carline, who has to slot in at left back today following the suspension of Stephen Morley. Obviously his red card against Guiseley, which was appealed by Leamington. The appeal not successful as George Carline sends a seeking ball up towards March in his first foot race with Chandler, and it's found a way through with just 40 seconds on the clock. Cayman Anderson sliding in the 6-yard box, and straight from kick-off virtually, Leamington find themselves in front. It was Josh March getting onto a ball through by George Carline, getting the better of James Curtis, the Spennymoor centre-back. Sent a searching ball into the penalty area. Good vision from Josh March to see the run of Anderson, who did ever so well to get in front of his marker and slide in. Matthew Gold, you have to say, he got a hand to it, but not enough to keep it out. And Cayman Anderson put into the side for today by Paul Holleran. The manager putting his faith in the young winger, and the winger paying Holleran's faith dividends. Leamington 1, Spennymoor Town 0, not a minute gone, and it's the Breaks put themselves in a position of assertion straight from kickoff. Edwards is ball in. Edwards rising, it was Walters with the delivery, and smack clear by Glenn Taylor, and now Spennymoor will look to counter-attack. Turquoise shirts flooding forward with Ben McKenna. Ramshaw is outside him. It's Ramshaw's ball across, and it's well dealt with by the Leamington defence. It will come in again from Dexter Walters. Floated in towards the penalty spot. Went through an awful lot of bodies before striking James Curtis. Carline wins the header forward, and again Spennymoor threatening on the counter-attack. Curtis. It's Taylor's ball over towards McKenna. Well controlled by the Spennymoor Town winger. McKenna cuts inside, pulls the trigger. It's well snuffed out by Clark. Might come for Ramshaw to strike first time, and what a scorcher that is from Rob Ramshaw to bring the visitors level. The first time volley, watched it all the way, and what a way to finish off a clean counter-attack from Spennymoor Town. Glenn Taylor with a searching ball out towards McKenna. McKenna, the architect of the move, just teasing the Leamington defence and cutting inside. It was his shot that was snuffed out, but Leamington didn't react quick enough to make up for the quality of Rob Ramshaw, who struck it first time on his right foot, just watched it drop and hit that sweet as a nut, sweet as you like, from the Spennymoor Town midfielder, and he brings the teams level. Anderson loses out to Buddle. Jack Lane thought about coming. Here's Taylor. Always something dangerous when he's on the ball. Here's McKenna. McKenna checks onto his left foot. Chandler Taylor leaves it for Hall to strike, and Hall finds the bottom corner past Jake Weaver, and Spennymoor flip the game on its head. They now lead by 2-1, and it was good build-up by them on the edge of the penalty area. The chance looked like it was gone when Chandler couldn't quite get his effort away. He set Taylor, who left it for Ryan Hall, who didn't need a second invitation, struck it with his instep, and it curled past Jake Weaver. And after taking an early lead, Leamington now find themselves 2-1 behind with half an hour played. Leamington 1, Spennymoor Town 2, and it's Ryan Hall with a piece of placement into the bottom corner. Weaver with a big shout, and had to meet Taylor's shot. It was Buddle challenging Jake Weaver in the air there. It might still come for Spennymoor. It's Hall's ball, but it's over the goal. But Jake Weaver had to stand firm there after missing his catch. Glenn Taylor with a effort on the spin, but met by the firm palms of Jake Weaver to keep the score at 2-1. Taylor beating Mace to the ball and flicking on towards Henry, who drags his shot wide of Jake Weaver, the stationary figure in the Leamington jersey. More of a spectator, no chance Jake Weaver there if that was on target, and just sliced it past that right-hand post. Walters' ball into the front post, easily met by Chandler. Hall will look to hold this up for his side, and offloads to Ramshaw, who's racing forward. Turquoise shirts flooding forward in support. Glenn Taylor is the man over on this left-hand side. Here is Taylor, can take a touch on the edge of the penalty area. Retreating is Edwards, bundles Taylor over and gives the referee no option but to point to the spot. And the Leamington captain just a bit too overzealous there in his retreat towards his own goal, giving away the penalty kick. Glenn Taylor feeling the contact and going down. Once again, it was another swift counter-attack from Spennymoor Town from one end of the pitch to the other in a heartbeat. And this time it results in the penalty kick. So dangerous in the counter-attack this afternoon, Spennymoor Town. Taylor takes a breath before stepping up and blazing over the crossbar. And a lifeline for Leamington, a let-off for Paul Holloran's men. As Glenn Taylor, Spennymoor Town's top goal scorer, blazes his effort way over the crossbar and into the stand behind. And Leamington will now look to press on and see that as a sign, as the home crowd will rally behind their side. It'll be Jordan Murphy to take this corner kick into the fray, back across the face of goal. English touches towards goal, it's blocked on the line and away by Spennymoor. Murphy looks to keep it alive. Murphy isolated out there on that flank. Checks back to Joe Clark. Clark dispossessed, but Carline will keep it alive for Leamington. Chipped through and it's smacked away by Curtis. English so unlucky. Leamington need a spark here. Need a bit of creativity. Carline in towards Edwards, who flicks on. There it is. March into the penalty area. Brought down. Penalty Leamington. Lifeline Leamington. And there is that spark. Jack Edwards with a cheeky flick round the corner. Josh March got away from his marker, and the offender dragged him to the ground, and the referee awards the spot kick. And it was the captain, Chris Mason, the offender, but Josh March from 12 yards for his 19th goal in all competitions to get Leamington back on level terms. It's March. It's 2-2. Game on here at the Phillips 66. Leamington level. And it's their star man, Josh March, who won the penalty, picked himself up and slotted it home past the diving Matt Gold, sent the goalkeeper the wrong way, and we're back on level terms here. Leamington 2, Spennymoor Town 2. 15 minutes on the clock. It's anyone's game. Callum Gittins needs to get in the game. March will look to drive towards goal, goes for the effort, clatters the crossbar. The piece of inspiration that Leamington need. And their star man, inspired from his penalty, struck that like a rocket, and the bar is still shaking. What an effort from Josh March. Saw the keeper off his line, it sat up perfectly for him. But so unlucky seeing that rattle back off the crossbar. It remains all square here, and March is in the scoring mood. Sliced across his own back line by Clark, picked up by March inside the centre circle, looks to release Anderson. McNay needs to be careful, it's run for Cayman Anderson. Gold shirts arriving in support inside the penalty area. Edwards peels off and goes for it! And almost has Matt Gould worried. Had Matt Gould scrambling all right, almost found that bottom corner. Joe Clark standing over this ball. This will be the last action of the game. The 4 minutes are up. Joe Clark delivers into the penalty area. Calls for hands, nothing given by the referee. Deflected into the penalty area and smacked away. And there's the referee's whistle. And despite the calls for hands, that will be it. It ends here in a 2-2 stalemate. It was goals from Ramshaw and Hall from Spennymoor that cancelled out Anderson's very early opener on the 42nd mark. Leamington doing well to stay in the game after they went behind, and Spennymoor turned it on his head, and it was Josh March who picked himself up and dispatched the penalty from 12 yards to bring his side back level. Takes the Leamington unbeaten run to 7 games in all competitions, as it's finished here. A very valiant effort from the breaks. Leamington 2, Spennymoor 2. It's a good point for Paul Holleran's side.
So Paul, a very hard-earned point in the end for the lads out there against a very good Spennymoor side. Your thoughts?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. A very good Spennymoor side, I think. Certainly first half. You know, it's a long time since a team's done that to us. I mean, they just were smothered us really. They're on top of us. Their play was excellent. The hold-up play, the runners from midfield, they got the wrong side of us some times, and it was the reason they're in the top 3 or whatever all year, and you know every season, playoff finals and cup runs. They're a good side. I think when we beat them here in the cup a few weeks ago, we certainly matched them physically better. I think. I thought today, physically, they, you know, certainly in that first half, they were just too much for us, if I'm being honest. And I was half glad to get in at 2-1, because you're a bit worried then that the game would be sort of taken away from you. And listen, you know, we've had a tough schedule the last 2 or 3 weeks with Tuesday night games and whatever. We did better second half, but you know they were probably still on top. The penalty miss is a big thing, isn't it, really? To be fair, if that goes in, possibly. But then I think the most pleasing thing is that we did better. We got a couple of fresh legs on as well, and all of a sudden the impetus came with us. Then you could see the equaliser coming. I think Junior had a great chance just before. Got some good balls in the box. Good bit of play from Jack the Pen. You know, Josh reliable as ever. And then you know it's a real. I think probably the last half hour was real toe-to-toe, and we probably just edged that period. I think for an hour you'd have to say they could have put us to bed. But then I think, considering you know we've had to go, you know, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, with a small squad to finish us strong, and then it's only the width of the crossbar, maybe a penalty appeal at the end that probably stopped us winning the game. But you couldn't argue that Spennymoor deserves something out of the game. You know, and listen, we'll, you know, to be honest, we're happy with the point. You know, it's because, like you say, for probably 55 minutes we were second best in a lot of areas. And I don't think it really comes down to. Sometimes you look at different aspects of it. It's not a case of our players weren't putting the legwork and weren't trying. They were just too good for us, and that happens in this league now and again. You play against good sides, and at times their play and their know-how was just too much for us. But we hung on in there, and we found a way, and then we've ended up finishing the game stronger, which is a great credit to the changing rooms, because they showed that character that sometimes you've got to do in this league, and it's a great point in the end, and it keeps the unbeaten run ticking over.